Here we have a new 2024 Chevrolet Equinox. This Equinox comes in the Premier trim level in the beautiful radiant red tint coat. And then we have jet black perforated leather interior. The powertrain of this Equinox consists of a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And that's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. So mostly a carryover for 23. We're gonna see what changes, if any, have come to this Equinox. But as we come around to the front end here, same beautiful front end for the Premier trim. All that either chromed out or gloss black, except for the bottom here. But love that grille, love the LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights. Then we have those LED fog lights as well. And again, just a really sophisticated look for this Equinox, especially in this red. 18-inch aluminum wheels here. I like that newer design. We get passive keyless entry on the front 2 doors. Power door lock controls are here. And then we have one-touch automatic up and down for the driver's side, express down for the other 3 windows, rear window lock here, power mirror controls there, memory seat functions, and then a power adjustable lift gate so we can decide how far we want the lift gate to go up. And then we have a 7-speaker Bose sound system, bottle holder there, headlamp controls, hood release. This does have the all-weather floor mats option here, which I highly recommend. It just helps keep the carpets clean. And then we have a manual tilt and telescope steering wheel. The release for that is right there. There's the power driver's seat, 2-way power lumbar support. And I've always liked the design they have on these Premiers, where you just kind of have the trim in random spots, and then on the outskirts of the seat itself. Looks very nice. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So before we check out the rear leg room, shout out to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this Equinox Premier today. I'll leave a link below in the description where you should be able, if it's still available, to check out the window sticker, but I'm gonna try and go over it here so you all can see all the standard features and just how this one's optioned out. But quite a few options on this one in particular, which I highly recommend. It's still under 40 grand. Just hate that we don't have the 2-liter turbo 4 anymore, but a lot of people in this segment might not mind that. Let's go ahead and hop in the back seat here. So great leg room. I have only about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of headroom just because of the sunroof, but again, the hairs of my kneecaps are touching the back of the seat, but that's about it. And we have the seat back pockets on both sides, AC vents, 3-stage heated outboard seats. And then we have 2 USB-A inputs and a 120-volt 3-prong household plug-in there. And then hip room is pretty good for someone of my wider stature. It just seeps over the side a little bit, but that just makes that middle seat a little bigger as well. Bottle holders in the middle. Grab handle there, and then we do have a hanger hook. We could probably fit 1 plastic hanger, maybe a couple metal hangers, but I do like that we have the premium reading lights, those LEDs in the back. We're gonna make our way towards the back. Fuel filler there. And as we come around to the back end, I love the design we get on the Premier as well with these tail lights. Just a great look. Parking sensors integrated in that rear bumper. The exhaust there. And plenty of storage behind the second row here. We can lift this up. And there's additional storage. Ooh, I just smashed my finger. And then we can fold the seats flat. You can either do that from hitting these back here, or on either side, you can push this up, and when that turns red, that means it's loose, and then it'll lock back into place. That also allows you to recline it a few different positions. So there's a difference there. Not a big difference, but again, that's a position, that's a position. So you have 2 kind of locking positions there. And then we have the roof rack bars here. You can add crossbars and turn this into a a cargo tray or something if you want to. And then we do have a power front passenger seat, which is a nice touch here. This one won't fold flat like in the Terrain. Some of those you can get the fold flat seats, but this one feels a little bit more spacious anyway, so most people probably won't need that in this particular vehicle. Owner's manuals are there. And as we come back around to the front here, we're gonna pop this hood and just take a quick look in the engine bay. There's that standard 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. And now let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So nice heated leather wrap steering wheel here. The heat toggle is right there. Feels nice. There's the horn there. Let's go to the radio. So we're already in the audio sources menu. We get AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth. We also have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto compatibility. The navigation system here. Pretty easy to type in an address, find a shortcut if you will. And then you also have voice recognition if you want to just tell the navigation system what to do. Wi-Fi hotspot. We can have certain apps downloaded here. And then for our settings, I'm just going to scroll through where everything is. If you want to pair your phone, pretty easy to do. Just go to phones, hit add, and then just search for My Chevrolet on the Bluetooth menu on your device, and it walks you through it. And then we have teen driver, rear seat reminder. There's the backup camera there, front camera there, curbside views, and as you can see to the left, we do get that 360 view as well. Very helpful for parking or make sure you don't hit anything. We have dual zone automatic climate controls with 3-stage heated cooled seats, auto mode. We can sync there. I like that there's a button for this because in a lot of newer vehicles, you have to actually go on the screen and do all that to find the sync, but I like that that's available to you. And then fan speed, fan direction, all that. Pretty self-explanatory. It's an SD card reader. The navigation system runs off of that. You have a USB-C, USB-A, and aux input there. 12 volt here. Wireless charging pad. Parking sensors, self-park function there. And then for the shifter, just pull the lever behind, reverse neutral drive, then you have that low gear, and you can manually shift with this little button on the side. And the bottom right corner of the digital part of the gauge cluster will show you what gear you're set to be in. And then you have an electronic parking brake, pull up to engage to the brake, press down to disengage. Center console cubby space, removable tray here, 2 USB-A ports for charging. I'm opening the power sunshade now for this huge roof we have. So there's that panoramic sunroof. Controls for that are here for the sunshade, and here you can either tilt or slide that back. Universal home remote, sunglasses holder. And then you can hit this a second time and it'll go all the way back. So you have tons of space for where the air can come in there. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And as that folds back, there's a vanity mirror. I like that we have the premium lights in there as well. But back to the steering wheel. Cruise controls here. So we have adaptive. We can turn that on or off, cancel, set, and then hit this button for the gap adjust for either the forward collision alert or the adaptive cruise control. You also have that lane keep assist with lane departure warning, and then voice recognition, mute, and you can use these 4 arrows to go through that digital part of the gauge cluster there. So tons of different ways that you can configure this as well as use it just in general. So if you go to these settings here, you can change your units from US to metric, and then that info page option, you can decide what you want to have up. Click or unclick it. So pretty interesting. And then several other options as well. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, or you won't need it. Traction and stability control, you can toggle that there. Behind the steering wheel on the left side, you can toggle your track list or your radio station favorites. And then behind on the right side is volume control, up or down. Blinkers are here. With the headlamps on, you can toggle your high beams there, flash there. Auto high beam toggle is here when you're in auto mode. And then windshield wiper controls are here. One time, off, intermittent, low, high. And then you can adjust the intermittent here. And then your rear wipers here. Push back for rear wiper fluid, pull out for front wiper fluid. There's the push button start. Finally, here is our key fob with remote start. And next, let's go ahead and take this Equinox Premier out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Equinox Premier, as I've said a million times, as I've done different trim levels of the newer ones where the 1.5 turbo is the only option, it's adequate at acceleration. It just feels a little sluggish in this heavier vehicle. In the Malibus, it's borderline good. Of course, I prefer the 2-liter turbo in that as well, but here in this Equinox, I just feel just a tad underpowered, just for how I like to accelerate and with having a turbocharged engine, but it gets the job done. So for most people in this segment, that probably won't be a huge deal, especially when you're able to get 31 miles per gallon on the highway. But for me, I just want a little more pep in my step. I'm gonna give it a little bit of throttle here, not too much. And I think the biggest downfall to this engine is it's not necessarily that it's super slow, but when you give it throttle, it like screams at you. So that can be kind of a hassle there. But I do like having the adaptive cruise here. We're gonna set that. And then we can see the fuel economy in front of us. But as we get up to speed, you'll kind of see where they're getting that 31 miles per gallon from. So as we kind of steady here, we start to get those high 30s. Looks like there's a traffic jam up here, so in terms of the price range for Premier, $38,000 to $39,000 is not terrible, but it is a bit of money for a vehicle, again, that doesn't have the more coveted 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. But I mean, in terms of the options, I think you do get quite a bit. You have the roof, the navigation, the adaptive cruise control, the lane keeping system with lane departure, having that wireless CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. There's a lot here. But I think the biggest issue that people are gonna have, especially if you're used to the old Premier trim levels, is paying almost $40,000 and getting a 1.5-liter turbo 4 engine. I think I'd rather pay another $2,000 and get the 2-liter, or heck, maybe even get a V6 option, I don't know. But I feel like a lot of people in this price point may get drawn away because you can get a CR-V or a RAV4 with a, I shouldn't say it's a better powertrain, but a more preferred powertrain among people in this segment for around the same money. Now I do know a RAV4 that can get pretty pricey, especially as you start getting certain packages, but still, just for this engine choice, and especially with it not being a hybrid, it can be a letdown to some. But I mean, the exterior styling is great. I think the interior is one of the nicer ones, again, in the segment, comparing with the CR-V as well as the RAV4. But I do like the sound that you get from the engine bay. I like how this drives. I just wish it had more power to it. It's a turbocharged 4-cylinder that doesn't feel as fast as you would expect it to be. But again, the technology is great, I think. The amenities you get on this Premier trim, especially with these packages, is fantastic. And you might take a look at it and be less pessimistic than I am. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Chevy Equinox Premier.